Yes, we have to be good. And we are blessed to be in a Bitcoin conference in Cape Town and to be surrounded by like-minded people, man. People who want to share knowledge, grow, step forward. Because if we don't do it for ourselves, chances of someone else doing it for us, very low. And also, it may not even be the most helpful. So hello and welcome to this Bitcoin Educators panel. We'll get to who our panelists are, they're educators. And I want to also give a shout out to all our viewers who are watching this all over the continent over the coming months and years. I'm sure what we are going to be learning here today, if you are an educator watching this at some point in future, you will learn some lessons on how pioneers in the Bitcoin education space have develop their understanding of not only the field of knowledge of Bitcoin education as that is evolving all around the world, and how all the global educators are learning from each other and implementing their knowledge through the ways that our panelists today will be sharing with us. And hopefully these lessons are lessons that viewers can take with them, not only for Bitcoin, but in any other skill that you are looking to develop in your community, where that may be. So let that be the blessing. So also with that, please always feel free to reach out to any Bitcoin educator who's in the space that you are in, or to any Bitcoin educator in general. X and Noster are perfect places for this. Shoot them a DM, shoot your shot, man, ask a question, and you'll probably learn something really valuable. So these are the people that you want to talk to. Disclaimer, obviously always not financial advice. This is knowledge sharing, and Bitcoin is a fundamental human right. So we're here to learn about that and take things forward. So let's get started, guys. Welcome. Thank you very much for being here. We're hoping to get some value and learn from what you guys have learned, and to get better at doing that. So let's go around and let's start off and say, both personally and for your project, who are you? Why are you here? What's your project name and the purpose of the project?
Hi, my name is Michael Rathebe from SowetoBtc. Just gave a talk earlier saying SowetoBtc started as a pseudonym name because I did not want to dox myself. And later officially made it an organization initiative dedicated to empowering the youth from Soweto, underprivileged ones, through Bitcoin education and mentorship.
Thank you. Hello, my name is Nomsa Williams. Many call me Sasa. I'm coming from Bitcoin Ekasi organization from Mossel Bay. And we are doing Bitcoin education there, building a Bitcoin secular economy. So I've been teaching at a primary school. Now I'm privileged to teach the young ones to the old ones Bitcoin education.
My name is Cole. I make YouTube videos. I was getting very frustrated with all the questions I get asked about Bitcoin, so I decided to just make videos about them so I could send somebody a link instead of spend 2 hours trying to set up a wallet with them. And that grew quite a bit. People seem to like the way I teach Bitcoin, so it's grown from that, and now I'm on YouTube, Twitter, and Noster, and yeah, I teach Bitcoin. I also help people personally one-on-one build secure Bitcoin setups, so hardware wallets, Sparrow, these kind of things, multi-sig for securing Bitcoin for 10 to 20 years if that's what you're after, and yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Thanks, guys. And then a follow-up question to that is, tell us a little bit about the head and the heart space you were in the day when you realized I have to do this. I think many educators reach a point where they just feel, I need to do something, I don't know how, and those people just need a little bit of a light to say, just take one step in this direction, and that's the way you go. And so yeah, if you guys can share a little bit of your head and your heart space, you were there and you thought, what are you thinking, and then how did you get going?
You want to start?
Hey Jabu, the world is changing. Now, it was my concern that the technology is growing fast. And you know, in the teaching space, especially here in South Africa, we are not technically educated. So I found out that this digital currency can help me, because I see that, I realized that phones are used, computers are used, and then I was interested to learn something new, not to be in that space of education and gaining nothing. So I wanted a change for myself for that.
All right, with me, I call myself a class of 2021, but I was introduced to Bitcoin in 2015. So becoming a Bitcoin educator honestly started last year when I came to this conference, when I got to be exposed to the world of Bitcoiners, you know, from catalysts, entrepreneurs, educators, and interacting with the likes of Jabu and everyone. Then the question was, what is that you will like to do in the future? So the experience of going to Mossel Bay, the experience of being at Witsand, seeing what is happening in the space, what Cape Townians are doing, it really sparked that interest to me to start this thing. So, yeah, I became an educator because I am on the education space. I'm a music educator, so I interact with learners on the space of music. So I see them daily, their struggles from Soweto. As I had earlier said, that Soweto is both an opulent and unfortunate environment, whereby majority of learners who are coming to the public schools are coming from disadvantaged backgrounds. So that, my experience here really said to me, okay, go and give your best knowledge to these learners who need it more.
Yeah, so I think deep down I understand Bitcoin is better money, and I believe everyone should be using Bitcoin, especially in this country. It's, you know, we lose, you're effectively robbed every single year when they issue new currency. They're stealing your time and your energy. So fundamentally, Bitcoin is better money, it's freedom money, and it stores your value. So I guess in my heart, I just wanted to help people secure it properly. I think a lot of people focus on why we need Bitcoin, but not enough people are teaching how to actually do Bitcoin. Because if you do it incorrectly, you could lose your Bitcoin. So yeah, I really wanted to focus more on how to Bitcoin, how to secure Bitcoin, and how to do it properly. And it's not easy. It's something you really have to devote your hours to it. But if you do it properly, you've got this freedom technology in your pocket. You can you can save your money in something that cannot be stolen from you through inflation. It's something borderless, censorship resistant. So I had it in my heart to teach people how to use technology to become more economically free. Yeah.
Thanks, guys. I think everybody has to answer some questions in themselves, and then it takes a lot to take that first step into a new venture, an educational one, putting yourself out there publicly. It's quite brave. So thank you for taking that step and being trailblazers for the future of educators in the space. It may be a question you'll probably come across a lot and may get again in future, but for people looking at projects and wanting to do something, why Bitcoin only? And how do you or should educators respond to questions that are non-Bitcoin? We will encounter these. I've encountered them. They do come. So how do you respond to that? What makes you say Bitcoin only, and how do you respond when people come with anything else, really?
Fundamentals of money, from the first principle, what money is. Bitcoin is here to solve a huge problem in terms of money. So other cryptocurrency came after Bitcoin. So as much as Bitcoiners will use the S word, people come from different perspectives in finance, psychologically so. But what we're trying to emphasize is the value of freedom money, like Cole said it earlier. So Bitcoin only gives that ability because it's only asset which is limited, only asset which is scarce, and only asset that people see the true value on it. So as a freedom money, which is not controlled, cannot be coerced, is decentralized. Majority of things that came after Bitcoin are controlled by individuals. So when we say Bitcoin-only education, we're trying to cut the noise and give the signal that is Bitcoin.
Thank you for that, Jabu. I will add to what he has just said. There's only 21 million Bitcoins that are created, and it's incorruptible. No one can ever, it's just sensitive, censorship resistant. And once more, they are all mimicking, indeed. The other coins are mimicking, and I don't want to even know how they operate. I just saw the concrete Bitcoin that was introduced to me, and then I did not give any ear to anybody who is telling me any other thing. So the fiat has disappointed us. So I find the Bitcoin is it's something that is concrete and genuine for me.
Yeah, so I think Michael Saylor said it. He said, the best thing Satoshi did was he gave us the gift of Bitcoin and then he walked away. So Bitcoin, it's rules without rulers. If you just look at fundamentally what Bitcoin is, we've got tens of thousands of nodes operating around the world. We've got these miners in every single country mining Bitcoin. We've got super high hash rate. It's the most secure network on this planet, and the other coins just can't say the same. Bitcoin, even if you just look at the price, I mean, it's, what is it now, $2 trillion is market cap in Bitcoin. The next best one, ETH, is like, I don't know, 500 billion, something like that. So if you just look at even the numbers and the network effect and how many nodes we have and the hash rate, Bitcoin's just king, and nothing else comes close. So luckily in my position where I'm at, I teach only Bitcoin on YouTube. So generally when people contact me, they're Bitcoin only too. And I don't really have to answer that question, but it's quite funny. Earlier I was downstairs just at one of these shops down here, and the guy said to me, what do you think of Dogecoin? So I said, yeah, I said, it's shit. And then I said, can you download Wallet of Satoshi? And he said, I've already got it. Somebody else before me had given him a wallet, so I just sent him Bitcoin. And yeah, so I guess that was my test. It was literally 20 minutes ago. I said, shit, and I sent him some Bitcoin instead. So, yeah.
Yeah, look, it's from somebody who comes from a business background and worked on many different things and have ADHD. I tend to be focused on everything at the same time. When setting a company or an organization on purpose to something, the purpose is very important, and focus, I've had to learn, is probably the most important thing you can do. So if you focus on Bitcoin only, you are learning everything about macroeconomic history of the world and how politics, the intersection of all those things. And that is a lot. That is a lot of information. Let me just tell you that now. And if you're serious about making a difference, then committing time to study alternative risk means it's time that you're spending away from your actual work or your business or anything like that. So as a small business, which one should I take? Well, Bitcoin is the one. You don't have to, be aware of all these other risks. And all of that risk in any element that it comes from, whether it's fiat or altcoins or whatever it is, it comes down to the boardroom, the single boardroom. An entire organization is directed by the single boardroom that there is. So if there is a boardroom of control involved with anything, then it is not Bitcoin. And therefore, you are at the mercy of whatever risk comes out of that boardroom that you have no part in or no say in. And some of those real core elemental things are part of the main reason why nobody's talking in South Africa really about an Ethereum stockpile or a Dogecoin or something like that. Why it's Bitcoin only? Because that's the only one that's really independently verifiable by any nation or person or small business or big business, anything like that. So those are where the real powerful things lie. And that's why you'll hear lots of builders in the Bitcoin space talk about everything else as being a distraction, because it's pulling valuable minutes of focus away from building your business in the most effective way. how do you guys currently engage with your students on a day-to-day level? How do you plan to scale your reach, if that is part of your strategy as an educator? And if, you know, scaling your reach or that sort of thing is not really something that's applicable to you, then how do you see the evolution of your teaching, whether it's active in person, passive online, or some alternatives? What do you see yourself moving into and growing into as an educator in the Bitcoin education space?
Yeah, so all my stuff is on YouTube already, which I guess is highly already scalable. I mean, you put a video out there and anyone in the world with an internet connection can watch that video. So it's, I can't scale. I guess I can aim for more viewers, but other than that, the content exists. There's no way for me to, you know, deliver it to more people. It's out there on the web. So yeah, it's already out there. And in terms of yeah, I don't know, to be honest. I just, when new tech comes, I guess I'll show people how to use it. And I guess with the increased interest in Bitcoin, I see that in the YouTube as well, in the trends and more people watching the videos. In terms of Bitcoin evolving, I guess just cover the new tech and show people how to use it and ensure they're on top of what's new, while also fundamentally understanding how Bitcoin works. Yeah.
For me, educating yourself is the best. You just educate yourself and find more information from others, and then you get out there, do more research so that you can assist those who don't understand. For me.
Oh, scaling education, interaction with learners. There's a phrase that I like. It says, knowledge will forever govern ignorance. And the people who want to be their own governors must arm themselves with the power that knowledge gives. So I take that and use it in the Bitcoin space. So interacting with learners in terms of empowering them through economic literature that comes from the Bitcoin space. In the Bitcoin space, it's actually free Bitcoin education. It's scalable to a point that we only need your attention. It's almost entirely out there. It's a network effect. So to scale it individually, some people, like for instance, we have El Salvador Education, Mi Premier. They have harnessed and gathered every information, codified it to a 10-week program that I, as a South African, I don't need to reinvent the wheel. I just take that. So you find more sophisticated educators worldwide who are pushing the Bitcoin education. So we just need to tap into that space and empower the ones who are close to.
I think the big takeaway is keep learning, keep growing. Many professions these days work on CPU points, continuing professional CPD points, continuing professional development. And from project management industry, accounting industry, lots of other businesses where that's a stalwart of how the industry develops and grows. I think in the Bitcoin space, what you find from the educators is that they are constantly learning and constantly growing and incorporating this into the space. And that's how there's a feedback loop. Because what Nomsa learns from teaching Mi Premier Bitcoin curriculum in class is she learns how do the students respond, how do the people respond. She can also see from her own perspective, how does this actually apply and is it applicable? And therefore the feedback goes back to those organizations to say, we're missing this, or we need that, or that's really well, that works really well, or that doesn't. And so there is already that built into the space. And so being connected to the people who are on top of this, who prove themselves to be trustworthy by their proof of work that anybody can go and find and see, that's a good space to stay on top of the space. Nomsa, when you work with kids, because I think what many people don't quite realize, what we're looking at here is we've got Cole, who's who works online, and so that's YouTube. Any age, any audience is wide. Nomsa, you work primarily with junior school kids. And Michael, you work with a range of adults and also teenagers and youngsters. Nomsa, can you tell us a little bit about what you learn from the eyes of the people who are learning about Bitcoin with a fresh perspective on how the world works from the context of where you live and where you work?
Thank you. As I have visited the school in the past 3 weeks, I think, I went to the school and then I happened to meet the educators as well, the educators of those kids that I'm teaching. So I find the excitement, this is all new to them. And they are so excited that the world is changing indeed. So they know me. I'm their colleague. I was teaching in the school as well. So all I bring now for them is all new dynamics of life, and they cannot believe that the world has changed the way it did. And I find it. I'm very proud to say that I find it. I'm happy that I'm able to make a change in their lives, the educators themselves now, and I'm happy also that the learners that I'm teaching, the learners from the school that I'm teaching, they can also teach now the educators that I'm about to teach. Besides me going to the school, they are the ones who are delivering what I'm delivering to them. And there's no financial literacy at the school. We are giving them a full-time financial education course. So we cover what is being covered in the higher levels in the school setting. At an early age, now they are learning big things. The kids are learning big things now at an early age, which the school has prepared for them for the later school years. That's what I can.
Thank you for that. And before we get to the closing question, Michael, for you, when you work with teenagers, obviously as teenagers, they got phones, they're connected on social media, they can use these apps, they can log into all sorts of things. And what do you notice from, say, that spectrum in terms of young people coming to terms with this new monetary technology, which is internet and phone-based? What are you seeing and what are you learning from the teenagers who are coming in the space with the types of questions that they ask and the type of perspectives that they bring to you and how and your engagement thereof? Like, what are you learning there?
Hey, it's a lot, hey? It's interesting to work with youth. As you said, I work with a variety of people, but youth are adaptable to technology. So once one introduces them correctly in the space, they are able to see the difference between the fiat currency and the digital currency. So they get to understand it, despite the fact that from home, money is not a topic of discussion. But once we introduced that into school, at first, there were a couple of learners who just drove out, but there are other learners who are getting interested in the space of trying to understand why is it digitally, because they can see when they are sent to shops or when they go with their parents, money is no longer cash, it's digital. Their parents are just swiping. So their aha moment is when they get satoshis in their wallets, like light, as in lightning. So they're like, wow, I just received this amount and today is this. After 3 weeks, they discovered, oh, the value of it has went up. They're like, oh, mine has increased. So you can see that they are adaptable.
Guys, last one through is what's your best advice for the educators who are watching this and they want to get into either a sector of business and incorporate Bitcoin, or whether they want to do Bitcoin specific, basic level, more complex. Somebody who wants to come into the space watching this, what is it that you learned which has been the most valuable thing for you in your journey up until now that you can pass on to the next people who are moving on from here, and then tell us where to find you online?
I think the most important thing that I've learned is that when you teach somebody completely new to Bitcoin, is that they don't have the entire context that you do. And like you'll try explain a concept, and you want to explain it thoroughly and fully, and you'll expect them to understand it, but they're missing a few pieces of the puzzle, and that's something I've had to learn. And sometimes you really got to start from square one, and if you don't, you're missing building blocks. So you need to understand that you may have used Bitcoin for 5 years, but the person you're teaching hasn't, and there are fundamental things you understand about Bitcoin that they may not. And something you need to come to grasp and understand in your teaching, so that you really can start from square one if you do need to do that. And be patient with people, especially when you're explaining the technical stuff. It can be completely new to someone, a completely different subject from anything we've ever seen before, because Bitcoin's new. It's a teenager. It's 15 years old. So yeah, we've got a long way ahead, and it's new technology that not many people quite grasp yet. Oh yeah, so on YouTube I'm Southern Bitcoiner, like Southern Africa, but Southern Bitcoiner, and on Twitter I'm ColTU, Twitter or X, ColTU. Yeah.
Oh, one of the best advices I would give: perseverance. Don't give up. If something goes wrong, I had a visit from Bitcoin Loction about 2 months ago. Go, and she went to the Ekasi center to see what we are doing. So it's best to come out of your comfort zone, go and look for other organizations. What are they doing? Expose yourself, involve yourself with other organizations, search for advices. And patience also pays. Take a small bite or just a few lines of Bitcoin education a day. Maybe just a paragraph, small paragraph each day, then you will see where you get to.
As she said, perseverance. If you want to be in the space, just do what you love to do. Things that come natural to you. If you speak about it. If you preach about it. And interact with people on the space and the level that you are at. Know that, for instance, like Cole has said, everyone who comes to Bitcoin, they are not at your level. Just come to their level and make them understand why freedom technology is most important.
Humbled to learn, lots of patience, put it out there, lots of perseverance, and learn as you go. It's evolving. There's no such thing as a place where you've achieved a level or a certificate in Bitcoin and now you are done. It doesn't happen. It's evolving. The politics in Bitcoin, the politics of the world, how everything plugs in, new technology plugging in, old banks finding new technology, and yeah, as we go and as we grow, we learn how to keep this thing secure and safe so that we can pass it on and utilize it in the most profitable and beneficial way for our families, ourselves, and our communities. So thank you guys for what you are doing, showing others the way, and being an inspiration. And we can only thank you and look forward to seeing the next evolution of where you guys go. Guys, can we please give them a round of applause? Thank you. So stand up. And yeah, I'll catch you on the next one.